Well, happy Sunday. So, I've managed to sort the garage out and got the convertible in, ready to do timing belt and clutch. So, two kind of big tasks. We can see there I've got it up on my stands. It's up on the ramps at the back, so plenty of work, space underneath, or enough. It's just a bit of a pain, these set up when the engine's longitudinal rather than transverse in the engine bay, because now I've got to do everything underneath the car. So get that gearbox off. Again, just like the me Audi A6, got to take the front bumper off, headlights off, blah blah, get it into the service position, which pretty much means moving the slam panel and everything forward so you can get access to the timing belt. So yeah, pot her on and see how we get on. Dilly. Well, I haven't getting much done, to be honest. It's just everything's a nightmare as usual. I've had to take the brake calipers off to get a drive shaft off. Drive shaft bolts were seized in both sides. Yeah, so that was a bit of a mare. Now I've had to take all the airbox off just to get the one bolt, or one extra bolt for the catalytic converter, because the exhaust got to come off. The cable for that, routed all the way around. Had to cut loads of cable ties off. Do that. Air filter had to come out anyway. Check this out. It's like a bird's nest in there. So yeah, we'll have to clean that out and put a new filter on. She might breathe a bit better. So next is, well, take the exhaust off fully. So I'll disconnect it from the centre pipe and take that hole out, the whole system out there. That had to come out anyway because it does have an exhaust leak on the bellow. But it looks like you replaced that section, so that's good. Normally they fix to the catalytic converter, but it's a separate pipe, so it should be relatively inexpensive. What else? Undo all the gearbox bolts and stuff. But the hardest part is done now, I think. Just disconnect the gear linkage, disconnect the bolts holding on the gearbox. There's a main subframe that holds the gearbox in place as well, that has to come off. But other than that, should be fairly straightforward. If I can get it all stripped off today, that'll be great. Then call it a night. And then tomorrow I can crack on changing the dual mass for a single mass and putting it all back together. Notwithstanding I need my exhaust pipe and a bit of service parts. And then I can start taking the front end off and start doing the timing belt and water pump. Right, dilly. Right, so I've got the exhaust off. So here's the bellow. You can see obviously the black stuff where it's leaking. However, this is where it joins, so I'll be able to just angle grind these off, renew the bolts. So you basically just buy that little section there, which is grand. As I say, some of the bellows are part of the actual cat, and you've got to cut them off, and then you can buy just separate bellows that you just re-weld on, but then you've got to get it welded. So at least this way it's just renewing the one pipe, as I say. So that's not too bad. Yeah, that's it off. Just see if there's a gasket on here, which there is. You know, everything's just awkward. Yeah, we can. I'll have to buy a new gasket as well, so I'll take hands on with the cat. Right, back underneath. While I've got you, I'll show you underneath. So here's the a bit of this basically the support for the back of the gearbox. So here's the front subframe. So I've just got it's jacked up on the sides anyway, so it'll be fine. So just got to take the bolts out of here, out of there, one either side. Oh, there's a couple either side actually. One in the middle, and then that's it. This will come off, but I'll have to support the back of this gearbox. In fact, I'll be doing that last. First thing to do is to take off all the bolts. It's hard to show you, like, but basically there's bolts all the way around anyway, and the connections for the gear stick, so for the selector, and that should be it. That'll be happy days. Right, dilly. Right, now back onto the Audi. So my exhaust pipes came. Got a special on eBay, so that was grand. 30 quid. Bonus. Right, so that's a flexi sorted. Yeah, I've got to get some gaskets like, but right, on to the next, which is get this gearbox off. A couple of days back I'd left it at a point where I just disconnected the hydraulic oil pipe for the slave cylinder. Yeah, so that'll have drained off nicely. Next thing is put the jack underneath, support the gearbox, take the rear mount off, what's attached to the subframe if you remember, and then hopefully I can manoeuvre the gearbox out, pull it away from the engine and drop it down and change the clutch. Dilly. Right, you can see the brackets removed now. So the bracket went across there, attached to the gearbox there. So I held the gearbox, held the subframe, took the bracket off. I've put the bolts back in now on the subframe, so I can release the jack over there that's holding the subframe up, get that out of the way, and this gearbox is free to manoeuvre out. It'll be balanced on this jack leg, so I'll just have to hope that it's balanced right, otherwise it's just going to fall to the floor. C'est V. It's made of metal, so it should be alright. Right, dilly. Right, one gearbox out. Oh, not too bad actually. The nightmare will be putting it back in. Always are. But even more so when you're underneath, putting it in on one of these. So there's the dual mass clutch that I'm replacing. So I'll get that whipped off. New one put on. And then I can start putting everything back together. Ah, dilly. Right, that's the clutch plate off. It is well knackered, as I knew. Yeah, wafer thin that. Certainly taking the metal off the studs. So now for the now to take the flywheel off, which is basically these bolts in here, and this will be heavy. Dilly. Yeah, and that's it. Flywheel off, which is on my belly. Yep. See all the scoring on it. Totally knackered. Right. Let's get the new one on, dilly. Right, bit of unboxing. So we have a new single mass flywheel. Oh, you can get a guide with that one. Line the clutch plate up. Release bearing. Clutch plate. And the release plate, or pressure plate. Happy days. New bits. Dilly dilly. Right, new flywheel on. I'll put the clutch plate on. Put the centralising tool in. Basically slots in there. Lines the friction plate up with the pressure plate. So everything's nice and square. So that means when we put the gearbox back on, the splines will line up nice and easy, he says. Right, just start tightening this pressure plate down now, and then get it torque tightened up. Then I've just got to change the release bearing in the gearbox, and then I can start and try and get the gearbox back on. Dilly dilly. Okay, so that's new release bearing on. Grease the splines, grease the bearing guide. That's all good to go. Ready to put back on. Yeah. Right, gearbox is all back on. I've just been cracking on putting it all back together. So yeah, all on. Support brackets back on. I've put the starter motor on. Connected the hydraulic clutch pipe. Yeah, all the securing bolts are in around the engine. So that's it for now. I'm going to have to take Bry's car back and get mine back. Yeah, so a little trip to Newcastle. And then this will wait now till tomorrow. Yeah. So I should get a finish off tomorrow. And then I can crack on with a couple of things. Service and time and belt. So still a bit to go. Dilly dilly. Well, hello. So we're cracking on with this time and belt now on the Audi A4. Got to the point now I just need to take the coolant pump off, put the new one on, and then new time and belt, and then put it back together. Not as bad, this one, quite straightforward. Dilly dilly. Right then, new water pump fitted, new pulley, new tensioner, new belt. I've rotated it twice, checked the timing marks again, everything's spot on. So put it back together, dilly dills. And all back together. Burring away nicely there. Another big job done. So I've got to order a front left fog light because one's knackered on this. So I might as well leave the bumper off until I get that ordered. I've got brake pads coming for the front and rear, so I'll get them replaced. I've got a rubber boot on one of the suspension arms to change. Bit of a pain in the arse, but yeah, and then I think she's ready for MOT. Happy days, dilly dilly.